All right, guys, I'm back. I want to do a brief news roundup of some of the things that have taken place this past week. And then I want to talk for a little bit about um, artificial intelligence and the race that's going on between the United States and China um, to see who can reach um, artificial general intelligence first, which is the the top level of artificial intelligence you can get to. We're not quite there yet. We're working on it. So are the Chinese. I want to talk about that for a little bit. Um, and I want to read some news. But first, I want to talk about my mom for a second. Um, Her birthday was not long ago, and I want to wish her a happy birthday. I love her dearly. She was and still is an amazing mom. I had the best childhood any kid could ever dream of. My father also deserves a shout out, but it's not his birthday quite yet. But both of my parents raised me in an amazing household. They were loving, respectful. They let me live my own life, make my own decisions, and allowed me to be whoever I wanted to be. There was no pressure. They just loved me unconditionally. They trusted me. They gave me space, and they provided for me. They let me live my own life and do my own thing. They were fair and not too controlling. They let me be my own person. They did not impose anything on me whatsoever. They let me breathe. They let me be. And for that, I will be forever thankful for my parents. Uh, so happy birthday, Mom. All right. Now, for a brief news roundup from me. And this is a big one. We got breaking news from Beijing. And this is also in the style of Walter Winchell, which maybe uh, you know who he is now from the last episode. But breaking news from Beijing, ladies and gentlemen, the world of AI, artificial intelligence, has just been rocked by what some are calling AI Sputnik moment. Out of the East, DeepSeek, a China-based tech giant, has unleashed open source models that threaten to topple the so-called giants of the West, OpenAI, Meta, and NVIDIA. These new models are nothing short of game changers out of China, with DeepSeek's aggressive push to dominate the global AI sphere. This is no mere skirmish, folks. It's a full-blown arms race, and it's happening right now. The competition is fierce. The stakes are monumental. If America doesn't wake up and rally its resources, we could find ourselves playing catch up in the very tech that will define the next century on this planet. Remember, it wasn't so long ago that the Soviets launched Sputnik, an event that jolted a nation into action. The question now, will we stand by while China takes the lead in artificial intelligence, or will we rise to the challenge and prove that the future is American made? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. This story is just getting started. Now, Flash, Brussels. Stop the presses. In a chilling address to the European Parliament, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk declared today that Europe must arm itself to survive the growing threats on the global stage. There is no choice, Tusk warned, making it clear that Europe's security depends on bolstering its defense capabilities. The message is blunt. Europe can no longer afford to sit idly by while instability looms on all sides. The rise of hostile powers from Moscow to the Middle East demands immediate action. Donald Tusk, the Polish Prime Minister's words, cut through the usual diplomatic chatter. This is a call to arms. Listen, Europe's future is at stake. Will its leaders take a notice of this message or will they remain passive? Stay tuned as the continent braces for what comes next. This is far from over. Now, total, absolute, surprising news out of Minsk, Belarus. Hold your applause, ladies and gentlemen, because in the land of democracy, Belarus, or should we say the land of Alexander Lukashenko, we've just witnessed the most legitimate of elections. In Belarus, President Alexander Lukashenko, affectionately known as Europe's last dictator, has been crowned victor with a stunning 87.6% of the vote in the recent presidential election. A true people's choice, no doubt. Now, don't you dare question the integrity of this democratic process. After all, who wouldn't trust an election where all the opposition is so thoroughly silenced? And the voters? Well, they were probably just so enthusiastic they couldn't help themselves. There was a turnout like no other. So let's all raise a glass to another decisive victory for Alexander Lukashenko, who's clearly doing wonders for the fine art of electioneering. And remember, folks, it's not about the votes, it's about the truth as he sees it. God bless Belarus, where freedom flourishes under the watchful eye of, well, you know who. Flash, Washington. Hold on to your seatbelts because we've got some international fireworks. A bold and unflinching statement from two political heavyweights today. U.S. Senator from Alaska, Lisa Murkowski, a Republican, and Danish Member of Parliament, Aja Chemnitz, who is the voice of Greenland, one of Greenland's two members of the Danish Parliament. The issue they're dealing with, Senator Murkowski and the Danish Greenlandic MP, none other than President Donald Trump's brilliant idea of buying Greenland. Because why not just pick up an island as you would a used car? Murkowski and the Danish MP, speaking with the fire of two leaders who actually understand diplomacy, declared that Greenland is open for business but not for sale. Ah, message to Washington. This isn't a yard sale, Mr. President. No bargain basement deals here. Now, isn't it nice when common sense gets a seat at the table? Greenland might be up for trade in resources, but as for sovereignty, well, that's a different matter entirely. The White House might want to rethink the whole real estate approach to foreign policy. Stay tuned. The icy waters of international diplomacy just got a bit colder. Flash, Geneva. Hold the phone, ladies and gentlemen, because a seismic shift just took the world of global health by shock. The World Health Organization, already grappling with financial woes, has now frozen hiring and restricted travel to the United States, controversial withdrawal from the organization. Yes, you heard that right. The United States is pulling out of the World Health Organization, leaving a gaping hole in its budget. The World Health Organization's chief, Dr. Tedros Adhanom, pulled no punches, telling staff that the U.S. exit has made the organization's financial situation more acute. In other words, the world's health watchdog just lost its most powerful contributor. But here's the kicker. This is not just an accounting issue. Oh no, it's a dangerous gamble that seriously threatens global health and pandemic preparedness. We're talking about a move that could cripple efforts to fight disease outbreaks, share vital information, and provide the infrastructure for future health crises. You see, folks, when America pulls the rug out from under global cooperation, everyone feels the tremor. A global health disaster waiting to happen? You bet. This is a stark reminder that the world is only as strong as its weakest link. Um, Now I'd like to end with some thoughts on something that is a little unusual. That is, I have some praise for Mr. Trump and his apparent understanding that the race for artificial intelligence is actually important, and it is a race that must be won by the United States. Donald Trump's announcement of up to $500 billion in private sector AI infrastructure investment is certainly a bold move, signaling a major commitment to advance the United States' position in the global AI race. Time will tell if these funds will translate into tangible results, but at the very least, it appears to be a promising start. If executed properly, it could bolster America's competitiveness and technological leadership in the years to come. The recent developments out of China surrounding DeepSeek, which is China's cutting edge large language model, an AI program equivalent to ChatGPT, this may very well mark a Sputnik moment in the AI race between the United States and China. With DeepSeek's capabilities and the aggressive pace of its development, China is positioning itself as a formidable player in the AI space, challenging the dominance of American tech giants. Real quick, when I reference the Sputnik moment, um, what me and many other people in the media have been talking about, and this is an original idea, but during the space race between the Soviet Union and the United States, the Soviets ended up launching the very first satellite into orbit, the Sputnik satellite. And that shocked the United States because the US thought they were winning the space race. And then all of a sudden, the Soviets launch a satellite into space, Sputnik. And seeing how the United States was losing the space race galvanized the country in the late 50s and early 60s into action. And it really made us focus on the space race. And we doubled down, we tripled down, and we ended up beating the Soviets to the moon, and we ended up winning the space race. But seeing the Soviets launch the first satellite into space really freaked the country out and gave us the push we needed to really prioritize this space race. But back to AI. In the 21st century, the most important competition is not taking place in the halls of government or on the battlefield. No, it's happening in the laboratories and boardrooms of Silicon Valley and Beijing. The race for artificial general intelligence, or AGI, is not about who can create the most advanced machine. It's actually about which ideology will shape the future of humanity. As China rapidly advances in the field of artificial intelligence, the stakes could not be higher. AGI, the creation of machines that can think, learn, and adapt like a human being, holds the power to revolutionize everything from medicine to warfare, from economics to education. But it also holds the power to reshape society in ways we can hardly imagine. And herein lies the problem. Whoever controls artificial general intelligence will not just control innovation, but potentially dictate the direction of global governance. It is not hyperbole to say that we are facing an ideological battle of immense proportions. On one side, the United States and its democratic allies, nations that believe in the open exchange of ideas, the protection of individual rights, and the freedom to innovate. On the other side, China, a totalitarian regime with a disturbing track record on surveillance, censorship, and the suppression of individual freedoms. If China emerges as the world leader in artificial general intelligence, the ramifications would be nothing short of catastrophic. Under the rule of the Chinese Communist Party, artificial general intelligence would likely be harnessed to extend the reach of the Chinese state, to monitor every aspect of human life, to censor dissent, and to control the flow of information. In short, the Chinese Communist Party's vision for artificial intelligence is one where the technology serves the state's interest, where the individual is subjugated to the greater good of the authoritarian regime. In a world where artificial general intelligence is controlled by China, democracy, freedom, and personal autonomy could become relics of a bygone era. The United States and its democratic allies must lead the way in the development of artificial general intelligence, not just for the sake of technological progress, but for the sake of the principles that define the free world. The values of democracy, transparency, and individual rights must be the guiding forces in the creation and deployment of artificial general intelligence. If the free world does not take the lead, we risk not only losing the race for AGI, but losing our very way of life. The US must invest heavily in AI research, foster collaboration with its allies, and ensure that ethical frameworks are baked into every aspect of AI development. But beyond that, the United States must make clear to the world that artificial intelligence will be a force for good, a tool that will enhance human flourishing and not stifle it. We must ensure that artificial general intelligence is developed in an environment where freedom of thought, expression, and innovation are safeguarded. In this race, there is no middle ground. The stakes are existential. If we fail to win the AI arms race, we risk handing over the keys to the future to a regime that views individual liberty as a threat. We must not allow the totalitarianism of China to shape the future of artificial intelligence. We must ensure that the future of artificial intelligence is shaped by the ideals of freedom, democracy, and human dignity. The free world must prevail for the sake of humanity, for the sake of our values, and for the sake of future generations. The United States and its allies must beat China to artificial general intelligence, and they must do it now. And President Trump might, we'll see, be the one to get us there. But time will tell. That's all I have for you guys this evening, but I'll be back again eventually at some point. Hopefully not too long. All right. Thanks for watching.